It's the JT Cho Show! Got him.
No.
One's on the hilltop.
Does anybody have any?
One.
It's Goku. Got him. Headshot. 115. 315 knock. Let's go.
Finish him.
I shot Goku in the fucking face, dude. What number is it?
126.
Yeah, technically we should be on a new season now, but we're gonna just wait.
The new season starts when golf happens.
The new season starts when we get the new studio.
Yes.
So, wow, look at that. That's cool.
Stole it from the bar I used to work at.
So cheers to episode 126 of the JT Show. Today is Saturday. We usually try to record on Friday, but it's Saturday, March 18th.
Why didn't we record on Friday?
Oh, we're going to dive right into it. That was one of my topics anyways. We'll dive right into it after we do the birthdays, but I did stand-up yesterday on my people's holiday.
You go first for the birthdays.
Queen Latifah.
Oh, I saw that one on there. How old is she?
Born in 1970.
So that would make her 55? 53? 53?
One of the funniest,
53.
in some of the funniest movies.
So my guy, a little younger, not by much though, Dane motherfucking Cook.
Dane Cook.
It's Dane Cook's birthday today, dude. He's 51. Crazy, right? Oh, wait. Audible.
What is it? No. Peyton Manning. Fuck, why can't I think of it? Omaha. Audible?
Yeah.
Omaha.
Alright, we're drinking High Noon anyways. We might as well be part of the brand. Got some Pink Whitneys here for us.
Oh my god, dude. Are these Barstool Pink? We'll have to do a close
Also,
up. Oh. You know, one thing we forgot was the timer.
we're gonna gamble. Which one do you want?
We're gonna gamble live?
We're gonna gamble live.
I'll take
we'll do it. We'll do it at some point. You gotta
I'll take
pick
your
which one.
military left. I forgot to start the counter. But it's okay.
Anything we make off these going right into the studio.
So, hey, get away from that fire. So right at the first second, we're gonna start. We're gonna take the pick of the Whitneys.
Yeah.
So to Queen Latifah.
It's his first time opening the Whitney.
They're a little stronger.
Dude, a pink motherfucking Whitney. I haven't had a pink Whitney in a while. Man, dude, how come you can't get it open? What a bitch.
The top's all slippery.
I don't know what happened to yours. Mine was fine, dude. I didn't struggle at all.
I got it. Holy shit. These look bigger. I mean, those are more wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta be pretty close.
Pink Whitneys.
Dan Cook, Queen Latifah. Yeah, it might be a little stronger than the old cinnamon whiskey.
So, stand up last night.
Yeah.
What I like about having you there is you just let me know how the crowd, like your honest reaction about the crowd. And honestly, it was. So I did a 7-minute set. It was actually like almost.
Did you
8.
rewatch the video?
No.
Oh, okay.
I only rewatched the blue hairline.
Oh, you skipped ahead to the...
Yeah, just to hear the reaction of the crowd. Like
It was
you
good,
said,
right?
It was really good.
Yeah,
it was
killed.
popping.
Yeah, it
And
killed.
I-
Everybody laughed. It wasn't
and
like
I
2 or
was-
3 people laughing hard. It was like all 15.
Like we were drunk after a week off. Switch off, excuse my French. And
So I can take my jet out.
and so I that's one of the cringiest things for me to do is to watch it.
Yeah.
So I was fucked up and I was like, I just want to see, because it was a tough set. So what happened is 7 minutes of brand new material. I really did probably like 8, but they were really loose with time. It was okay. It was at the Stolen Stool. Everyone was really cool. Saw some people that I saw before. My first 3.5 minutes were rough.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I started talking about a joke that I just kind of was like,
It's not that they were rough. You were just getting like low laughs. Like
Yeah,
a couple
first
people
time.
would laugh at them. Yeah, a couple people would laugh at them.
I thought it would get a bigger chuckle, but I never got it. And so I'm halfway into a new set, kind of in that blind tunnel zone where you're just like, your ears aren't ringing, but you
It
just
might as well be.
your heart's racing, you lose
Yeah.
track of time, and the thing is, the reason why we don't have the regular counter is it's in my bathroom right now, because what I do before I do stand-up is I'll kind of talk about my process now, because that's originally what this goddamn show was about. Was I was supposed to become a famous comedian eventually, and then
Now
you'd
we're
be like,
drinking Pink Whitney, wishing Dane
Yeah.
Cook a happy birthday.
yeah, and so I like to write it on my phone, and then the day of, because I'm a big procrastinator, or whenever I write my sets, I'll write it in a notebook of the sets I want to write, and then I have a black notebook which I take on stage when I have to, and it's not like I'm reading off of it, it's just for reference because it's 7 minutes of new material, and then I go read it, and about 1.5, 2 pages is about 5 minutes, and it's all about the pacing, so I will read in front of a timer, and sometimes I write time cues of this takes me a minute. So sometimes before I even write my set, I'll just write my jokes down on paper, do my jokes, and be like, this is a minute 30.
Yeah.
And then that's how I kind of plug them in. So when I started talking about the new joke, which I'm going to craft again on Monday, I feel like if that joke kills, that joke's definitely going on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I think it's got to.
Because then...
I would sit on it until you get another one that does almost as good or better, and then you post one of them, and then when that one goes viral, then you post the other one. That way you got them in the tube ready to go.
But it's great when a last minute gotta throw it in there. Cause I was at 4
it was
minutes.
a new joke.
Yeah, all new
good joke.
jokes, and just to not crush. And it was a smaller crowd, about 20 people, 25 maybe at most, but more like 18. But I mean, you gotta feel that silence, and it's tough. And then when I have a hearing disability, and I already can't hear well as it is, and so when my adrenaline's running on stage, and I don't know if you can, I mean, I'm trying to talk as calm and presentable, but sometimes like I'm talking and I'm keeping myself like composed, but on the inside I'm just like, I'm gonna die, but I'm just like trying to get through that joke because I'm just
The
like,
little bitch in you is fucking
it talks to me.
is yelling at you.
The little bitch, you gotta ignore
Yeah.
the little bitch, because the
Yeah.
little bitch will distract you from what you're trying to say, and that's when I refer back to my notes, because I can memorize about 7 minutes pretty quick.
Yeah.
And
And then you step in front of 15 people, and it's
I'll tell you a funny story. I did plays 7th, 8th grade, and then I didn't do it in high school, and then I did 1 year in high school, and it was a complete disaster because of sports, because I told them straight up, sports is number one for me.
Yeah.
Like, and so, but it
could have been a thespian, dude.
I mean, I loved it. And so
Why'd you stop if you loved it?
because sports were great.
You could have done both.
No, because like, you know, after school you're already like theirs was right after school most of the time, you know, and I was like,
Football's year round?
well, no, but like they practice right after school,
Yeah.
and football's right after school, so I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
for like a few months.
well, right, but then so
I'm just poking holes in it.
no, here's the thing. So as a junior, I was able to do it because varsity practice first, and I played JV as a junior, just like Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
So I played JV as a junior, so my practice wasn't until 4:30.
Okay.
So play practice was from 3 to 4:15, and then sometimes my coach would like be like, "Taylor, practice is early. Get your ass off the stage." And I'd be like, "All right, see ya." And then eventually, what happened is they're like, "You have to do this unless." And I was like, "You know what? Fuck you guys." It's either okay. It's one of those situations where if you miss the practice before the game, you don't play in the game.
Yeah.
And they were like, if you miss this play practice, you're not going. And I was like, fucking do it. I don't care. I'm going to go play basketball. And then they're like, we're sorry. But anyways, back to the 7th grade. I played Robin Hood in a Robin Hood play.
Okay.
And
The lead, huh?
yeah, I just because I'm energetic. Okay, I loved it.
Yeah.
So I memorized my lines like right
Very,
off.
very 90s of your school to put the little redhead kid in the lead.
I mean, it's Robin Hood. It's
Yeah.
comedy. Like
Yeah.
I don't really remember much.
Ginger's always
I
the
have
lead
it
in
on
the old
I
school
have it on
Disney
VHS. I own it on VHS.
I think you have to release it at some point.
Put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you have to.
We'll
we should do like a director's cut commentary.
So I don't remember much. I remember
Call
one
it
joke.
the director cut.
I remember one joke. I think I'm wearing a disguise, and they're like, "What's your name?" And I'm like putting on a pair of shoes, and I'm like, Dr. Scholl. I'm Dr. Scholl. Like that was my fucking line. So, anyways, all these kids in like middle school never memorized their lines. So I'm sitting here in practice, just I know my lines.
Yeah.
And
Everyone else sucks.
and like a week before, the play teacher's like, why are we all reading our books? Okay, there's like 2 people here not reading their books. You know, I think Eric Corey He was one of the ones that knew his lines, and he was a thespian with me. But
So he used to be pretty reliable.
yeah. And then, and even in the 8th grade when I was the king in the the Emperor's New Clothes, he was like my right hand dude in that
Okay.
play. And
Okay.
so, anyways, she was like, "Oh, since this is a parody comedy, like much like Robin Hood Men in Tights, they made giant the script books, so
Yeah.
it looked like people were always reading what was going on." But really, it was because they couldn't remember their lines, so they had to have a
Hilarious.
fake book.
Yeah, that's
And-
the OG trick for
Yeah.
middle school, high
Pretty
school
smart,
players.
pretty smart. And then that lady married one of my favorite people that I played basketball with, which was sick because I mean, like she was a dope middle school counselor. She was like a
She
middle
married
school
one of your middle school teammates?
teammates' dads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I thought
like
you meant he married
no.
one of the dudes on your team. I was
No,
like,
he was
fuck?
like a dude that like I played ball with, and so like when I played JV as a junior, I'm 16 and I have a car and I got all these little 9th and 10th graders, so I'm the fucking man
Okay.
because I can drive
the
everybody.
coolest 16-year-old on the JV
I played,
team.
dude. You know how hard that is? As like
Yeah, no, I never.
My-
so
like-
there was a dude on our volleyball team my senior year.
you had
and
volleyball in high school.
Yeah.
We didn't have a male volleyball team.
I tried out
I
my
don't-
first
I think-
time ever touching a volleyball was my senior year, and I was dropping a kid off, and he was like, "Dude, you should try it with me," and I made varsity. Like we went and looked at the thing. I was like the last name on the list. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" But this kid, I can't remember his name, but he was like 6'9", and he was built like Hodor. Just like a big fucking dude. He had like a 2-inch vertical maybe, but he could still dunk a basketball. It was wild.
yeah.
But he was kind of goofy, uncoordinated, but he would block the shit out of shots, but he didn't quite have like the game knowledge to play varsity yet. Like he just didn't quite have it. He would have been a sick fucking middle though.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would stand up and he would put his hands up above the net, like without jumping. They'd be like right here, like the table's the net. So he'd already be like as high as I could get above
Like
the
standing.
net. Standing.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
sick.
he would just stand like this
Yeah.
and block all the
Or was
shots.
he just uncoordinated?
Very uncoordinated. He was like a puppy Great Dane. Like he was just a big, goofy motherfucker. He fell one time, the first time, because we used to do after practice. We used to do like slam dunk contests with volleyballs, because like
Yeah.
anyone that
Palm
plays
a ball.
volleyball- Well, anyone that
I can-
plays
I-
volleyball
look.
can dunk a volleyball.
I dunked the
Like, that's
basket.
just-
I've dunked the basketball twice.
Yeah.
Twice in my life where I like went up just like never in a game or anything like that. Just running, traveling as fuck, getting the ball.
Slam dunk
And,
contest.
and, I,
You
and I'm
can barely
talking
get
like
in.
I pulled down the rim both times just slightly to where it's technically a dunk. It's not a Blake Griffin. I'm above the rim and I throw it in.
That'd be more impressive.
Yes, mine's. I barely get the ball above the rim.
Yeah,
and
it rolled
yeah.
off your fingers and you had just enough to get over and touch the rim
Yeah,
like that.
and
yeah.
then I had a 5'9" friend who could dunk it, and
Yeah.
and
In high school, when I weighed 180, I used to be able to get that much over, so I could cradle it, come up, and put it over.
But
it
you
wasn't
put a-
like I
but-
never did it in a game.
but you
Not
put
even a pickup game.
But you put a volleyball in my hand,
Yeah.
and you can easy catch money
360
every
dunk
time.
with a
Yeah,
volleyball. We used to do slam dunk contests all the time after school volleyballs or after the practice of volleyballs. And this dude, the big tall guy Hodor, fucking come up with this volleyball and run and like he runs like you know how normal people run. They jump and then go and they're jumping like that. When he runs, it's like
it's kind of like he shakes the earth like a cartoon. Like a
yeah,
giant
it's like
cartoon.
watching like this slow Titans from Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Like run up to the thing, and he jumps right before it, barely gets above the ground, 2 hands, throws the ball down, grabs the rim, and his feet go, whoom, and he lets go, and he goes, boom, and the whole fucking shit shook. He was fine, knocked the wind out of him a little bit, but he's like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. And then we're playing, I think it was Granite Bay. And we were practicing, just like doing some pepper shit, just like popping the ball down, popping it up. Out on their little blacktop, and they had basketball courts on their blacktop. And he went up to go do it, and he did it one-handed, and it was like kind of an athletic dunk. Like it looked like fucking Jokic just going up and doing an easy little one-hand dunk.
Yeah.
And he threw it down. He's like, I'm gonna try out for basketball next year. I was like, you didn't play basketball this year, bro? I was like, how come, dog? But he would travel with the varsity team and sit the bench. But he would practice with the JV team to like hone his skills, because the JV is where you go over like obviously everyone goes over the fundamentals, but like JV would go like in depth in the fundamentals, like teach you the footwork, like you're supposed to step here and then here, and then varsity was just honing that down. Obviously, like we weren't anything crazy. We won our division, but that's because we like the whole school moved down a division my junior year, so it was like we had a good volleyball team.
Like I was never the physically. I'm definitely never the fastest. I had good hands, and I listen. So essentially, one of my biggest strengths and is why I like coaching is when you get a playbook, because you QB'd, so you have to know what's going on everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
I played tight end, but I would come up to the line, and sometimes my linemen would be like, "What am I doing?" And I'm like, "You're crossing on 2, you fucking dumb shit."
Yeah,
and
there's always people that didn't remember the routes, you
so in
just tell them.
basketball, I would just be like, I'd run plays to a T to where it's almost not natural to where it looked more. Yeah, he's very coachable, but he's still very like technical. He's not like if you
robotic almost.
Yeah, robotic. There's the word. So so my
like he does the motions right, but it doesn't look fluid.
My 9th grade year, I was on the study hall team for football because I didn't take school seriously. And my parents kept telling me that if I keep fucking off, because I just did not give a shit about anything school related. Like, I didn't give a shit about homework. They're like going to take me out the team. So my mom pulled me from the from the freshman basketball team halfway through the season. And I didn't get to finish off that season. So I played basketball my sophomore year, but that's when Earl came out. So Earl was a much better athlete than I was. Earl would start at center. He would be the 5. And Earl would get 2 fouls, and that's when I would play. And I would finish the rest of the first half. And then as soon as the second half started, if Earl got a foul real quick, he'd come out. And if Earl only got 2 fouls till the fourth quarter, he'd stay at 2 fouls. And then when Earl would foul out, I would play. So I would never play. I feel like this is a Two Bears like because they have 1,000,000 cups. That's pretty fucking cool.
Right?
That's pretty fucking cool.
It's a Voodoo Ranger juice.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
that's the next thing we're drinking.
So
I remembered it was in the freezer and I had to go get it. I didn't want it to slush up.
So Earl always played in front of me, but so we just had a bad mesh with the class above us. So
It's funny that you guys were the centers because our center was like 6'8".
but 6'3" was the tallest.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
There was a kid that was 6'4" when I was a freshman, and he was real lanky. And playing freshman basketball,
I'm sure he did really well on the freshman team.
Well, no, he was a senior.
Oh, okay.
And so in practice, I'd see him slam dunk for funsies all the time.
Yeah.
But in games, it's harder because there's people defending you, and there's
Yeah.
less time, unless there's a wide open break. But I remember
And even then, your adrenaline's so fucking hard.
But I remember my grandpa's like, "There's no way he can dunk at 6'4", and he's like, "There's no way he can dunk." And I was like, "Grandpa, you know Matt? He's 5'9", he can fucking touch the rim." And he's like, "There's no way." In the game, he dunked it. I was like, "I told you he could fucking dunk."
Your grandpa's like this new
Yeah.
generation of athlete.
But so I get to my junior year, and there's a kid, and so this is where some weird where as an athlete you're like, I disagree with that, but there's a kid who came from the alternative who was like going back to our high school again, and that was like, I'm gonna get my act straight. So there's 3 centers in front of me, 2 seniors and that kid.
Okay.
So there's no room for me to do absolutely anything. I would basically just be a practice bitch. And so my coach was like, look, you're not there yet. If you play JV, you'll play every game, you'll get way better. And me going, I just want to play fucking sports. I was like, fucking sure. My mom was like, no. My dad was like, just let him do what he wants. And then I just murdered because I'm a year older than these kids, and it was great. Okay. So, and then, but it's so hard to get pulled into a coach's office where everybody after the last day, it's cut day. So he literally talks to every single person that goes in, and then cuts. Like, hey, you made it, you didn't make it. And then he'd be like, hey, I want you to play JV. I was just like, I don't even know what to fucking say to that. But it was dope, and I played in the band. It's
a tough spot for the coach, and it's a tougher spot for the player, I think. Just because you have to decide whether or not you want to continue doing it. Because that's like a slap on the wrist.
Yeah,
like,
hey. but I was in the band. And
I bet you really enjoyed that senior year of football, though.
Oh, yeah, great. And senior year of basketball. Yeah. Because what happened was I don't know if he was a sophomore. He might have been a freshman. But there was a kid, he was 6'4". He was taller than I was. His name was Logan. And so instead of being a mediocre fucking center at 6'3", this kid's taller. So I got turned into a wing player, a 3-4.
Yeah.
And then the whole time I just knew where everyone was supposed to be. So in any situation. And then I think the greatest honor that I got, though, is I always passed the ball in. Like my senior year, they're like if one motherfucker is gonna make a pass right here, it's gonna be Taylor. Nice. And I even did I've done the off the ass established feet and grab the ball, and then I've done the sick fucking like windows. But it's always like, can I move on the baseline? Can I not move? But it's one of those things where it was just like, and one of the best passes too was against Concord. There's a dude who's like 6'10", and he did play like Christian basketball somewhere down in Arkansas for a year. But there's a sick pass where there was like a fucking pick, and I passed it to this little to the point guard. And he drove it in, and that pick barely got it, and he scored. And it was just like that assist was like probably like one of the coolest wins, because like we were down by 1 and we scored 2 points to take the lead, and I was like the guy throwing it in. And I was like, oh, I gotta make this little squeeze pass right there, little bounce pass, you know, little fucking look at my varsity jacket, but you know, whatever.
Speaking of basketball, they I don't remember. I think it was Wilson was doing it. I don't know if you saw it. They've created an airless basketball.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I just saw that.
Did you?
And the airless basketball.
Yeah, so you saw the video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they hired that lady.
So they're doing the same thing. I think it was Mercedes or BMW with tires, airless tires. The same type of technology.
I've heard about airless tires in news.
So they're bringing them out. I think maybe this year or the next year's version of like the nice BMWs are gonna have the airless tires, and they showed like the video of it. And so it has the solid outer layer like that, like that's the bottom of the tire, and then it's got all these little pieces that come up like this and curve up into like where the rim's at. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple other layers in between, and when it drives over shit, it just like it condenses over the top of it and then just keeps rolling.
It just forms, but it's still
it stays, it pops back into place. And then they had one video where it went over the top of a nail, and it goes like this, and it goes like that. The nail goes super far into it, and then it goes and it just pulls right out and it keeps going. So like obviously you can't run over you probably run through a spike strip once, but like eventually they're gonna get torn up. I don't know how many spike strips it could go through. It probably can go through like 5 of them before it's like a shredded piece of material.
Yeah.
But like that's pretty crazy. Like that's gonna save people.
But also with technology with tires, there's new net contraptions for cops that they've been trying out.
Yeah.
Where they
like
shoot.
It's not. It doesn't fuck up the tire, but
it locks the tires.
It gets caught up in the fucking wheel shit.
Yeah. So they'll just have to adjust for those.
Which is not a big deal.
You're talking about. You're already scheming for criminals.
Well, no, I was just thinking about the things, and then it popped into my head as I was talking. Like I didn't plan on talking about spikes.
Yeah, I know, but you're just like
probably could go through a bunch of those. Yeah.
If you get airless tires, go rob banks, because spike strips will not stop.
We're doing this right now?
Well, no, I was gonna because you were like talking about basketball. I was like, oh, we were gonna talk about.
We're gambling anyways. What'd you bet on today?
So I've already lost 2, but I'll talk. I bet on some money lines today, but with March Madness going on, my bracket at work, which I spent 0 effort on, and I literally based one of the sections off of a quote unquote expert's picks. And Purdue lost in that. He picked Purdue to go.
That was a big upset. They were like plus 1,200.
Purdue's now lost to a 13 seed, a 14 seed, and a 16. A 15, 14, 16.
That's crazy.
Or a 13, 15, 16. One of the
Whatever
two. But
they just lost to the 16, right?
Yeah. Bad.
Fucking wild, dude.
Stupid. And it's because I heard analysts were saying it's because the coach doesn't know how to run a 2-3 zone, and that's why they lost. And they kept doubling the big man. So, Cut brought some surprises.
Yeah. I mean, Pink Whitney was the first one. Voodoo Rangers, the second one. And then we got these bad boys, some scratch-offs. This is the 5 times multiplier. Match any of the 1, 2, or 5 times your numbers to any of the winning numbers 1 time, and win 1 times, 2 times, or 5 times the corresponding prize.
Wow.
Also, if you reveal a star symbol in the 1 times area, it's a $50 win. So, how are you going to do yours?
So I like to do these.
You like to do them backwards?
I'll scratch off the winning numbers first. I mean, not the winning numbers, the numbers in the 1 times.
Yeah.
I don't try to scratch off the amounts because I don't like to know the amounts, because if you see a 50,000.
I like to know the amounts. Oh, there's multiples?
Yeah. Well, no, there's 1 row.
Yeah, but they're rows, and I thought it was 1 number in the 1 times.
Oh, no, that would not make sense. There's probably less numbers in the 5 times than the 1 times.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now that I know. All right, so what we'll do is we'll take pictures of our cards. So, I think we should go one by
So there's
one.
the same amount of numbers in the 1 and the 2 times.
Yes, and then
I was making sure you knew that because I scratched out far on it and didn't realize it.
so I dropped my key. I have no nails. I just clipped them.
All right, so I didn't get the star. I don't think either one of us got the star.
I wasn't even looking for it. I didn't get it. So now let's go one by one number.
All right, so you go first.
04. I got a 4.
Oh shit!
$5, baby.
Hey,
Won the
fuck
money
yeah,
back,
dude.
dude. Okay, here we go. You're up.
All right,
Wow, look at that 4. I love gambling.
I got a 39. No 39s.
No 39s. Next
Yeah.
number 6. 6 is a bust.
6 is a bust. All right. I got a 36. Damn, I have a 35. No hit on the 36.
28. 28's a bust.
Damn.
If I get a
Damn, a
26,
37.
if I get a 26, that's
Nothing.
$500,000. 29. Holy shit, I would have died right there, dude. 29's a bust.
31. That's fucked, bro. I'm getting all these 30 numbers.
And 34. 34's a bust.
Last one.
Hey, we got $5 for the JT Show.
18. All I have is a 19. If I had a 28, it would have been $500. Let's see what my times 5s would have been. So $10 times 5, 50 times 5, and 5 times 5. That's garbage.
Well, we have a $5
Holy
winner.
shit. If my 36 was a 35, that would have been 500,000.
Yeah, same with 26. 500,000. That would have. If we would have won that, we would have ended the podcast right there.
No, we would have had to keep going. We have to keep going off that.
Oh, so if you hit a hole in one in golf, you quit. But if you hit $50,000 on a podcast, you keep going.
We're in a podcast.
Well, you
not
keep
golfing.
drinking. You keep drinking. You just get super drunk. You upload it to YouTube with no edits, no cuts, no additives, and you just go. We're about to. You imagine $50,000? I'd be like, $500,000. I'd be like, all right, I'm quitting my job. We're gonna each live off of $50,000 for a year.
So we'll roll the winnings into another scratch off for next time. That'll be the new thing. We'll each get one scratch off. And
I'll
we'll
get
just
them
keep
next
going.
time.
All right, you get them next time. So you're in charge of these guys.
Until we hit a big one. I got a good card scratch story. So I used to shoot a lot of archery with my grandpa, and we drive the back roads a lot, and so we used to play a lot of scratch offs. So one day I go to the union meeting with him for the bricklayers union meeting, and
Ooh, it's 9.5%.
wow. So we stop. We take the back roads home, which takes an extra long time to get home. But
I assume this would be red.
same here, dude. So we stopped and we got scratch offs, and we won like $15. And he goes, "What do we do?" And I was like, "I don't know." He goes, "Let's stop at the next gas station." And so the rest of the way home, every single gas station that we saw, we would pull over. We would exchange the money for more lottery tickets and scratch them along the way. And we ended up making $25 off of a fucking $5 scratch off.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it was a great day.
That's not bad.
It was a great ride. It was like a 2-hour ride home for an hour.
I hooked up with a chick from I went to high school with her. If she's watching this, I'm not gonna say her name, but she won like I think it was like 20 grand off a scratch off when she was like 20, something like that. And she used it to go down to Southern California to like move down there and focus on her dream. And her dream was like fighting. And it was a whole big thing, but she lost all of it and moved back up north.
Happens, man.
It's just funny, man. Hey, but like to be honest,
That's why I don't move to like.
good on her though.
Austin?
Like she attempted her dream.
I'm attempting my dream without trying to go broke.
Yeah. Well, she didn't have anything in savings. It was like she was just like a waitress and like doing shit like that. She was living paycheck to paycheck, and then she just hit 20 G's off scratch off. And she was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go down south. I'm gonna train at this gym that I know I'm gonna like." I don't know what her professional fucking like record is, but or amateur record, whatever the fuck it is. But Yeah. Good on you for attempting your dream. Like, that's sick.
Especially fighting.
It's tough to do.
Especially fighting.
Yeah. I have a crazy fucking story.
Okay.
Want to hear that? So there's a group of people that released this video, or there's one dude that released this video, and he's like one of the whistleblowers for like the moon landing shit. And his story is pretty fucking insane. So his dad was in the military back in, I think it was 52 or something like that, or maybe a little later. Might have been in the 60s. I'm not sure. Anyways, no, it wasn't the 60s. It was because it was for the moon landing. And so his dad knew, quote unquote, that the moon landing was, like, the video they sent out was faked.
Okay.
And guess where he said they filmed it?
Clovis.
Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Dude, holy shit.
So it was the first hangars that went up. They were connected. The first two hangars that went up, don't know where those were. They've probably been demolished and rebuilt by now. Mm-hmm. But the first two hangars that went up at Cannon Air Force Base was solely for the purpose of it. He said they brought in concrete powder and sand, and they brought in moon rovers and disassembled them and reassembled them on set, and that's where they filmed it. Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Interesting.
Isn't that fucking nuts? No, obviously there's no, like, backing up the story other than the fact that his dad legit was in the Air Force at the time and stationed at, Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that anyone's ever been able to get, like, concrete evidence to back up, 'cause there's pictures of him at the base.
Yeah.
And don't remember the dude's name. I have the video saved. I'm not going to put a whole bunch of...
It's like when Bob Lazar talks about everything he's done in the military and they described his record from ever working for them. That's why shit like that terrifies me.
It is absolutely terrifying.
And speaking of, and hey, by the way, if you zoom in and you got the quality to, like, read that, we were both a Canon, so that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's why I brought that up. Because I was listening to the video, and he goes, yes, my father was stationed at Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico. And I was like, wait, what the fuck did you just say? Yeah. And so I had to redo the video like 3 times just to, like, hear. Because I listened real close just to hear what he said. Because it could have been anything. Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico. I was like, God damn, that's fucking wild.
So the neighbors before the Ohioans bought...
Ooh, look at that pour.
The neighbors... Here, let's try this out first. Fruit punch. It goes down easy. Super smooth. You can get real fucked up on that real easy. I give that a 9.2.
Ranger fruit.
I give that I give that a 9.2 for its 9.5.
I'm going to give it an 8.9. That's pretty, I mean, as far as IPAs go, that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
That's better than any of the beers I had last night at that fucking crunchy bar.
The problem with this beer, the only problem I have with it is it doesn't taste heavy, but it is heavy.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it's definitely not translucent. It's very smoky.
But the neighbors that bought the blue house that I grew up at, across the street from my parents, his dad was a retired, he was retired, but he was in the Air Force.
Okay.
And he was like, my dad was like, I'm still in. He's like, guess where he was based? And I'm like, I don't know, Cannon? He's like, yeah, how'd you know? I was like, well, if you're making me guess,
yeah,
it's probably where I'm at.
It's either Cannon or one of the dopest bases on the planet.
And so I was like, hey, and I talked to the old dude. He's like, yeah, we did fighter jets. I was like, yeah, this is the old there? Like the 70s or 80s. Oh, and so he's like, yeah, Portales, and we just sort of like talking.
Yeah,
and
just rapping on.
Yeah,
Clovis.
It was wild, man.
That's funny.
I've
only met like 3 people outside of the military that have even been to that base or heard of it.
Yeah.
Like, even there's dudes in the military that have never heard of Cannon Air Force.
Well, I think I've said it before, but...
And then I always tell people it's the 27th Special Operations Base. It's one of 2. And they're like, oh, I've heard of the one in Florida. And it's like, of course you've heard of the one in Florida.
Well, so where I lived at in Hillsdale County, I had like a second cousin that lived at a house that was less than a half mile away from my house because the gas station was 0.7 miles away because I would Google it a lot for running. Okay. So they lived just before Buddy's. And so my second cousin, got based at Cannon Air Force Base with me. So one day I'm working the gate and I was like, hey, holy shit, it's you. And he's like, yeah, it's you. And I'm like, all right, see you later. Person I haven't seen in 15 years. Yeah. And I got a bunch of your dope basketball jerseys. Like his mom gave my mom like Chris Webber, Shaquille O'Neal, like Magic jerseys, like youth, medium, dope basketball jerseys. And they were sick. And then a kid who lived less than a half mile a road north of my house was based at Cannon Air Force Base at the same time that I was. So
That's wild.
So in a world where less than 2% of people serve, that 3 people from less than a square mile from each other
Yeah.
were all stationed at the same Air Force Base at the same time, and they all 3 went to different high schools. They were all 3
One of them was related.
exactly, and I mean, he was much older, and that's why we got to
Yeah, but still, it's interesting because that's like me seeing like my older cousin Josh at the base, and I'm like,
But
what the fuck are you
I
doing
just like
here?
read his life. I was like, hell, my dad was just because what happened was my dad ran into his dad at the meat market,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, my son's in the Air Force. My dad's like, yeah, mine too. And he's like, yeah, mine's at Cannon. And my dad's like, holy shit.
That's funny.
And then he like called me when I'm still like a youngin'. I'm still a fucking E3
Freshie.
stir, and I'm working that civilian gate. And I just looked at the name tag. I'm like, holy shit, you're my fucking cousin.
It's
And
my kin.
yeah, dude. I don't fuck with my family a lot either.
Yeah,
So it was.
I got a story about that. There was 2 instances. One was towards the end of my career when I was working in the VCC, and dude came on base to escort his mom on base. Most awkward thing in the world, dude. All right, so this kid was in my little brother's scout group.
Yeah.
My little brother's scout shit. And
Cub Scouts.
Like Cub Scouts, like young. And they were doing the Pinewood Derby thing. His dad was the one, because I was too old to do it. I was just volunteering because I was already in fucking Boy Scouts. But I made a fucking car, the same car I always did, the fucking little sliver car. It was the tightest I could make
My brother
it.
made a sliver car. That's
Dude,
fascinating.
The sliver car goes fast as fuck. You put all 5 ounces in the front of it, and it just zooms down that motherfucker. But like you have to do it backwards because that gives you the most
The back
edge
momentum,
forward.
yeah.
And it's not going to tip forward, but you have most of the weight hanging in front, so it pulls your shit down faster. Anyways, his dad was the one I was working the thing, and I put mine in like the open, and that's for like all the dads that want to make one, all the little brothers, older brothers, whatever it is. So I put mine in that, and I won it. But that kid's dad got mad at me because I kept putting the graphite shit in my wheels in between races, and he was like, "No one else can do that. You're cheating." And I was like, there's nothing that says I can't do that in the rule book. He's like, well, then put some on mine. I was like, do you have any? He goes, no. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it sucks to suck.
I don't know what to do for you then.
Yeah.
And I just kept in between races. I kept doing it, and I was smoking people because like there were some really cool ones because like you win awards. There's like the most creative. There's the fastest. There's the what was the other one? It was like there was a movie one where it was like if you make one like the Ghostbusters car,
yeah,
you win like the movie award or
yeah,
whatever.
that's cool. Yeah, yeah,
And they
yeah.
called it like the Grammy or something like that. They had like a good name for it.
Yeah, that's
It
cool.
was cool. So I always wanted to be the fastest,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So he made his. His was a fucking fire truck, but his was fast as shit because there was a lot of shit on there.
Yeah.
So it was like just as heavy as mine, but it didn't go down the slope faster.
Right.
But it would go down the flat faster than mine. So mine would go down and be in front of him by like 2 feet.
And then
at the straightaway, he would start to catch up, and I would always beat him
Yeah.
because I had the momentum going down faster. But anyways, and then his mom, they were over at my dad's house for a fucking scout party, like one of the kids' birthdays, and they wanted all the scout buddies to come. And so they had it at my dad's house. My dad had this big fucking pool with a grotto, huge backyard to play football on, big outdoor fucking cook area. It was the sickest house I've ever lived in. I went to go to the bathroom, opened the door, and I saw his mom standing over the toilet, like facing the wall, toilet's underneath her, pants off against the wall behind her, and she was pissing. Like she didn't want to sit on the toilet, but she was facing the wall and bracing herself on the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened the door and looked, and I said, "Oh," and she looks and goes, "Occupied." And I go, "Oh," and I closed it. Never told anyone about it until right now. So this kid
This
and his
story-
mom, yeah,
Went so many directions
yeah,
for me.
This kid and his mom show up at the visitor center, and they don't recognize me because they haven't seen me since I was like fucking 12.
Yeah.
And I look at the name, and I guess I'll say the name. The last name was very
We can censor it out if we have
prominent
to.
fucking name. And I look down at his fucking name tape, and his name tape says the fucking... And I was like, yo, you were in my little brother's scout group. And he was like, yeah, I was. And the mom looks at my name tape and looks up at me, and she goes, you're Gary's older son. And I said, I absolutely am. I was like, how long are you going to be staying with us? And they gave me all their shit. They typed him up the thing. I don't know if she remembered because she called me Gary's son. So she definitely remembered my dad. Most people do when they meet him because he's a fucking, funny piece of shit.
I love your dad.
But
I met him once,
he's
and
the
he
fucking
just
best.
roasted me.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's what he does.
Doesn't even give a shit.
He's the fucking best. The other time that happened at that base was there was a kid that was in my my fire science shit. His name was Ryan. I won't say his last name, but he was like the slow kid. So like we'd run 10 miles and everyone would finish, and he would be like the one to finish behind everything. But kudos to him, he always fucking finished. He never quit.
Right.
Like he never walked. He would always, it would like be a slow like mom jog or something like that, but he always finished. It was awesome for him. He apparently got married to a chick that I hooked up with like my sophomore year. And it was so funny. Both of them got really fat. And like he was in the military fat. I think he was a fireman or something like that. He was only there for like 6 months or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but so I didn't even realize it was them. They pulled up to the gate, Golf 3, going to their house, and he handed me his ID, and I looked at it, and I was like, all right, have a good night, sir. And I handed it back to him, and he looked at me, he goes, what the fuck happened to you? And it took me a second. I looked at him, and then I looked back down at his thing, and I was like, yo! And he goes, there he is. And I was like, what's up, dude? And he goes, dude, what the fuck happened to you? You're a cop now? And I was like, yeah, man, you gotta stop smoking weed at some point. And he was like, okay, bro. And he just drove off. And I remember I sat there and I like contemplated all my life decisions up until that point. I was like, God damn, that's crazy.
Hilarious.
That I met up with that dude. Yeah, and he wasn't like a good friend. Like I bullshit with him. Like I was very cordial with him. I played like Little League T-ball with him at one point. And yeah, he was a good guy. He was kind of condescending and smart, so he's kind of a dickhead when we were in high school, but yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. I know you usually do the cut stumpers.
Okay.
But I have been sitting on this article I found on Yahoo originally because I do like to read a lot of Yahoo. So, I mean, I don't know if
we'll drop the cut stumpers and then cross out, like animate, cross out, and then Taylor.
Yeah. All right, so the 200 dog breeds that the AKC recognizes.
Okay.
They finally have a new number one dog, which has not been the number one dog. The number one dog of last year has now been surpassed by this dog. So on the top,
what is it? Number one dogs owned. Number one dogs breeded.
Most popular. The
most popular breed.
The 10 most popular breeds in the United States of America. Is the list.
Gonna guess them.
So
all right.
There's a list of 10 of them.
Okay.
My, you can guess. So you can guess the. There's going to be one overall, but what we'll do is
we'll see how many out of 10 I can get.
Yeah.
Are there any?
And if you guess,
are there any designer breeds like Labradoodle or something like that, or are they all just like normal breeds?
They're normal breeds.
Okay.
And then what I'll do is the ones that you guess, I'll tell you what rank they are.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I like
you
that.
get
all
10
right.
guesses.
I only get 10. All right.
Well, you get you. Well, I mean, I'll give you.
Guess until I give up.
I'll give you.
There's going to be a point where
I'll give you
I don't
12
know.
guesses for the top 10. That I mean, like, there's not that many breeds of dogs outside of the U.S. top 10.
All right.
Because you got to think like, what do Americans want to own?
So is there a differentiator between a black lab and yellow lab?
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna go Labrador then.
So Labrador Retrievers,
Yeah.
which I'll give you, were the most popular dogs of recent years. They have
figured.
now been surpassed. So Labrador
Okay, so that's
Retrievers
number 2.
is number 2.
Let's go with. Let's just see if.
Oh well, actually, you said Labrador. I'll give you that, but there is a distinction between the two as well.
So there's another Labrador. All right.
Well, there's another type of retriever.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
fine. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So Labrador's the first one. I mean, let's just throw it out there. Pitbull.
Pit bulls are not on the list.
Really?
Yep, not on
In
the
the
list.
American top 10?
No, not.
Wow. All right. So that changes my thing a little bit.
Yep.
A German Shepherd. has to be up there.
German Shepherd is number 4.
Okay, German Shepherd has to be up there. Husky.
Huskies. What we'll do is we'll do it until you don't want to anymore. But Huskies
Okay.
is not on the list.
Husky. Wow, Husky's not on the list. That's crazy.
Husky is not on the list.
Uh,
There's the 10th dog you will not get because I had to look up the dog of which it was, but that's probably the hardest one, to be real.
all right, let's go Shih Tzu.
Not on the list.
Wow, not on the list. Popular dog.
The top 10 most popular dogs in the U.S.
Oh, there's got to be a little one up there. Let's go with, Chihuahua.
Chihuahua is not there.
Not a dog expert. There's another retriever. So, is it golden retriever?
Golden Retriever is number 3.
My uncle had a golden retriever growing up.
Right. One of these dogs is
Chow,
known
so
for.
I got-
So one of these. Okay, so I'll give you some hints.
All right. So I have 2, 3, 4.
Two of these dogs are from the same European country. One of these dogs are known as great, rich, elegant guard dogs. One of these dogs are known for their noses.
Bloodhound.
Close, but no. One of these dogs is known for their big chest. One of these dogs are known for their hair. Those are the most. Those are the most hints that I can give you without giving it away for each dog.
So it's not Bloodhound.
Known for their sense of smell.
Yeah.
Known for their big floppy ears.
It's not a Bloodhound.
They're tan, white, and black usually.
It's like a Beagle?
Beagle.
Really?
Beagle is number 8.
Okay. Beagle. So Beagle is what I wanted all throughout high school.
Now
I wanted a Beagle so bad.
Now one, I can give you a hint. A person at Cannon.
Is there Doberman? Is that on there?
Almost close. One of the dogs a security forces person owned that lived with Pepper at one point right before you knew Pepper. He also sells cars now.
A Mastiff?
No. He also he got a big koi fish tattooed on him. His name was
I don't know that one.
all
All right, let's just go down the list. So
right, so number 10, the hardest one is number 10, which is crazy. It's a German short-haired pointer.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that.
I did not even know that. The number 9 was the elegant dog, is a dashhound.
Dashhound.
Number 8, which you guessed, was beagles.
All right.
The person from security forces, Rottweilers, was number 7.
Dude, I was gonna do that one too. So I knew Khan had a Rottie, and
He had Bear. He had a
yeah.
long-haired Rottweiler.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, Rot's got to be up there. But as soon as I said Pitbull, and you didn't say Pitbull was up there, I assume Pitbulls were more popular than Rottweilers because they're just easier to obtain.
Yeah, but
I would be willing to bet that more people own Pitbulls than Rottweilers in the U.S.
probably. But this is the most popular dog breed, so it's probably
What's that based off of, though? Is that just like dogs
It's
that
like
people
it's like a whole poll that goes every year that like what people want the most. So an organization takes.
So they're not going into the ghetto being like, what kind of dog you want? Because
They're not
9
talking
times
about
out of 10,
own.
that's a pit.
They're talking about most popular breeds that people want.
Yeah, okay.
Number 6 is the dog. Oh well, number
Is Poodle up there?
so number 6 is bulldogs.
Okay.
So mixed or British.
Gotcha.
Number 5
A bully, yeah.
is poodles.
Okay.
known for their hair.
I'll take a 40%.
German Shepherds
Not that
are
one.
4, Retrievers 3, Labrador Retrievers 2,
Yeah.
and the new number 1 dog breed for 2023 is a French Bulldog. That is the most desired dog for
Yeah,
people.
see, I missed the whole bulldog thing.
And
And
then-
like, even my uncle breeds bulldogs
Well,
too, so I should have known. I
and
should
then,
have.
like,
It's
like-
the only breeder that I know.
Like, I like, I grew up watching Rob Dyrdek,
yeah,
and so I always saw those dogs.
yeah, yeah.
But it just makes me sad how hard they breathe because I have a pug boxer.
Meaty and beefy, dude.
I have a pug boxer.
Meaty and fucking beefy.
I saw that list on like Monday, and I was like, I gotta save that for the pod.
So I have a stumper.
Okay, so we'll just
We
do
can
it
just keep rolling. We'll
Yeah.
drop the real logo.
over the fake
Drop the real logo right now. Yeah.
Over,
Yeah. Just erase all.
We'll
that.
have it crushed. We'll have it crushed.
Yeah,
the
crush
logo.
it and
Yeah,
drop
yeah.
the other one. Yeah. So mine. Oh, I almost looked at my bet. Let me get there.
Hey, can we not do that for no reason, Cora? What got you shaking though, Dizzy? I don't know what's got you riled.
All right, so this one is from the Nerd Sesh guys again. So can you name the top 6 in passing yards for number 1 overall picks?
Cam Newton.
I'm sure Cam Newton's on the top 10, but he's not in the top 6.
Okay. Can't be Tom Brady.
Can't be Tom Brady, dude.
Was Peyton Manning a first overall pick?
Peyton Manning was a first overall pick. He is number 1 on the list with 71,000.
Was my next guess is Steve Young?
Steve Young's not on the top 6. I don't even know if he was number 1 overall because they had they had Montana when they drafted him, so he probably wasn't.
Dan Marino?
Dan Marino's not on the top 10.
I thought
I don't
he-
even think he was a number 1 overall.
That's my problem. I don't know who number 1 overall quarterbacks are.
So for the list, there are there's 2 more quarterbacks left in the top 5 that won Super Bowls.
Mhm.
And the other 3, out of those 3, one of them I think you should get.
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana wasn't a number 1 overall. He was like a 5th round pick or a 3rd round pick, something like that.
Who are first round overall picks for quarterback? Let's see.
One of them, so let's see, 2 of the guys left that you don't have played in the era of Peyton Manning.
Okay. Drew Brees.
No, not a number 1 overall. One of the guys that won a Super Bowl was real big in the 90s.
Was that the
Big marquee guy.
owner of the Denver Broncos, John Elway?
John Elway's number 3 or number 4 on the list, 51,000.
Okay, so
And one of the other guys that played in the Peyton era was touted as like the next Elway. Had a great career, obviously.
it's tough.
Also won a Super Bowl. So as of right now, you have Peyton Manning at number 1 and Elway at number 4.
I'm trying to think here. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Are you giving up?
Yeah.
All right, so Peyton's number 1. Eli Manning is number 2.
Eli, I forgot because he did the whole thing.
Eli Manning's number 2. He was a number 1 overall pick. Number 3 is Matthew fucking Stafford.
Oh yeah, God.
That's the one I thought you'd get.
Damn.
That's the one I thought you'd get. The last 2, 5 and 6, are crazy. I didn't even know 6 was a number 1 overall pick. I knew 5 was, but I didn't even think about him. Carson Palmer is number 5.
Wow.
46 or 46,000
Old
passing yards.
Bengals.
And the last one, number 6, Vinny Testaverde.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's Peyton, Eli, Matt Stafford, Elway, Carson Palmer, Vinny T.
Sick.
Yeah. Interesting, right? So
Yeah.
there hasn't been a whole lot of number 1 overall pick quarterbacks that have worked out for the long haul,
Yeah.
which is just weird to think about.
Cam
like
Newton
obviously
was
Peyton and Eli are like top tier. So I mean, Cam Newton has to have. He's probably above 40,000. He's probably in the top 10.
Yeah. speaking of quarterbacks, Aaron went on the Pat McAfee show
Yep.
and said his intentions coming out of the darkness were to play for the Jets. As of Friday, his intentions were to play for the Jets. He went into the retreat in his darkness with a 90% chance of retiring and came out with the 10% chance of, I think I have something left in the tank. And now he's gonna help the Packers. Here's the thing. So, as a Packers fan, Brett Favre did him worse because he kept saying he was gonna retire, but I want to come back. So he never had a real definite
Yeah.
plan for him.
I need to pee.
Yeah. I have to pee as well.
All right.
So at
Sorry, I was waiting. The entire Taylor Stumpers and Cut Stumpers, I had to pee.
Yeah. So hold on. So we'll call the P at 53:30, and we'll cut it. And
Aaron
we
Rodgers.
peed. The dogs peed.
Everybody peed.
Everybody peed. Aaron
Everyone
Rodgers
can think
peed.
clear now.
Aaron Rodgers peed in the dark.
Yeah, he did. Multiple times.
So right now, Aaron's just saying that it's just between the two teams of how much is Aaron Rodgers worth. So in the long run, I'm happy because Aaron's going to continue playing. The organization, we don't want to do Pink Whitney's again.
Maybe to end the video.
To end the video, we're not going to do another.
Wait, we might have another 30 minutes, dude. I've gotten like 3 of my topics down. It's a little smoother than the Pink Whitney.
But what Aaron's done for our organization, and what he said is arguably true. He's the best.
longest tenured Packer.
He's the greatest Packer of
Greatest
history.
Packer ever.
And for whatever we get with Aaron, I'll be forever grateful. Now, my Faja, who I met today, is like, oh, so you gonna still be a Packers fan? I'm like, of course I'm still a Packers fan. But just like with Favre, I'm gonna watch.
You're gonna follow his career.
Yeah.
Just like I did with Brady in Tampa.
Yeah, I'm not like so. I am gonna get a discounted jersey, of course, of Aaron Rodgers because I respect him so much.
You should buy a really nice Packer jersey because they're gonna be cheaper on the NFL website. They're gonna be discounted 30%. That's what they always do when guys leave. They did the same thing with Brady, and I didn't take advantage of it.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get a Jets jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for fun.
Also get a Jets jersey. Yeah. I will not get a
Bucks Brady.
Bucks Brady jersey. I won't. Chris got me that T-shirt.
I got a Marshawn Lynch Raiders jersey.
Yeah, I think that's different though, because you never really had any affiliation with them.
I just like them I just like them.
Other than that, like Aaron played with him in college. That's the only thing.
But I just liked him as a guy, and I hate the Seahawks.
Yeah,
So
despise
I'll tell you right now. So if Aaron would have got traded to the fucking Cowboys somehow, I would not buy an Aaron Rodgers jersey, and I would just thank him for his service and be 100% committed to the Packers.
Yeah. If there's a Monday night fucking Cowboy game, if you rock the Packers
Rodgers
jersey, yeah.
If he would have got traded to the 49ers, I would have did the same thing. If he would have got traded
you don't like the 49ers either, huh?
No. If he would have got traded to the Saints...
I think I might know why.
Yes, if he would have got traded to the Saints, same thing.
It's like if Brady played for the fucking Giants, I would have disowned him. Brady went to go play for the Giants, he would have been dead to me.
So, look, you're a Patriots fan. Who are your top 3 most hated teams in the NFL?
Giants, Colts, and like early on it was the Steelers, but now I just kind of feel bad for them.
I don't feel bad for the Steelers. They've had so many 500.
Well, yeah, but nowadays it's like they're just like not quite good enough.
They're just good enough to beat you, but not.
They're also in fucking Joe Burrow's division, so it just like they're just done. They're in Joe Burrow's division. Lamar Jackson.
Isn't it wild to see that now? Like as you get older, that like
they're still a solid team though. Like they're still a solid team.
Like
they're
the Lions,
they're not winning any championships.
The Lions might
though.
be that guy now for a while. They might. Who knows?
Might be, but I think my third most hated, because I never hated the division. That's what's funny, is because we dominated the division for so long. I never hated anyone.
Yeah.
Like I always felt bad for the Bills and
I
the
respect
Jets.
Detroit, and I'm a Packers fan. I'm
And
from
the
Michigan. Look,
Dolphins. I always felt bad for everybody, because the Dolphins, the only time they were good before now was when they were doing the Wildcat offense with Ricky Williams. The Jets were only good for Mark Sanchez's like first
The
3
Bills
years.
had stints.
The Bills were never good up until recent.
They had Tyrod Taylor for that little stint.
And they weren't good.
No, yeah,
They
yeah.
weren't good. They were the bottom of the fucking league, or they're the bottom of the division at least. But like, outer division. I guess the only other one I'm not even mad at them really. It's not that I like hate the team. I hate the fans. Is the Eagles. I just don't like them. But like honorable mentions, like 4th and 5th is Cowboys and Niners. And the only reason I hate the Niners because I have one of my really good friends, Nick. I won't say your last name because you're a piece of shit, kind of. He's a Niner fan, and growing up all throughout high school, he was a Niner fan, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Niner fan, but it's whatever. We suck." And as soon as Kaepernick came into town, and they were good, and they had Frank Gore, and they had Patrick Willis, and they had Crabtree, and they had all these guys that were just like good. And he was like, "Bro, we'd be working out, and he'd be like, dude, I can name everyone on our offensive line. Can you name your whole offensive line?" And be like, "Bro, you just started paying attention like last year."
Yeah.
Like, I've been watching this shit since, like, 04. Like, don't get me wrong, the Patriots were already established as, like, one of the greatest franchises ever in 04. But that's when I first started, like, paying attention to them. I never watched football before that.
Right.
And so 04 is, like, so I'm coming up on 19 years paying attention heavily to the NFL. I know there was a lot of guys. I mean, there was that 07 team was fucking insane. Like, it was wild. That 2007's Patriots team is the greatest team ever not to win the Super Bowl.
So I got the Green Bay hat from my mom, my dad's mom, because she bought 2 hats from a gas station. One was a Lions hat, one was a Packers hat, and I was like, my brother got first dib because he's older, so he took the Lions one.
Imagine if your brother had picked the Packers.
Right. I'd be a diehard. I'd be just like Pepper.
Blue, dude.
I'd be Pepper.
You'd be bleeding
I'd be
blue.
Pepper.
I'd be a cop in Anchorage.
Yeah. And so, like, what's crazy though is I fell in love with football. Of course.
So hold on, real quick. Your brother, low key, like, determined your destiny for football.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about. You know what's crazy? So Travi never paid attention to football, and it was like I had Madden. So Madden 08, I was unbeatable because I always played with the Patriots, and I was like, you can play with whoever you want, doesn't matter. You can add players to the team, doesn't matter. You play with anyone. I always won. I used to play with Travi, and he was like, what team should I pick to like be a fan of? And I was like, any team you want. I was like, our dad's not a fan of anything. Me and Mom are Patriots fans because of Teddy, but he didn't have like a hard connection to Mom. I was like, Uncle Rod and the rest of the family are Raider fans, but realistically, like, there's not a team within 100 miles from us. You can pick whoever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And so he was like, all right, and he went through like the logos, and he's like, I like the Saints. And so Travi's a Saints fan, and he has been since he was like 8.
And a Milwaukee.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, I'm a Saints fan, and I was like, dude, that's sick. Fucking 2 years later, the Saints won the Super Bowl. He didn't even know. I went into his room after the Super Bowl was over, and I was like, yo, your team just won the fucking Super Bowl. He goes, no. He's like, the Saints were in the playoffs? I was like, yeah, dog.
Yeah, dude,
and then he goes on his fucking computer, and he starts looking shit up, and he goes, holy shit, we just won the Super Bowl. I was like, yeah, you just won the fucking Super Bowl. He goes, Drew Brees the GOAT. And I was like, all right, hold on. Chill out.
Yeah.
I was like, Drew Brees and shit. Cody, my youngest brother, he's a Cowboys fan. Mm-hmm. And the only reson why is because I gave him, when he was real little, I used to throw passes to him in the backyard. We'd have calls for like the fucking shit. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh, run a 7. And he'd go up and he'd run a 7.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, run a 3. And he'd go do like a fucking little out route. And he's like, what's my team? And I was like, I don't know. And I told him, I was like, your biological dad's a fucking Cowboys fan. And I was like, I have a Troy Aikman jersey that I had as a child. Do you want that? And he was like, yeah, I want that. So he would rock that Troy Aikman jersey. And he's been a Cowboys fan. And I don't know, that'd be interesting to call him and see if he is still a Cowboys fan.
He was last time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so that, my younger brothers, I influenced them enough to be like, you can pick whoever the fuck you want. Anyone. Doesn't matter. And they had no knowledge of any football, anything.
Right.
They just picked the ones that they were presented with. And they were like, oh, Cowboys.
Yeah.
Saints. There was a little incentive for Cody because I was like, oh, your biological dad, and I have this jersey for you. So I kind of like pushed him towards it. But Nothing wrong with that.
R.I.P. Leggett, but he was a Cowboys fan.
Of course he was.
And
Of course he was. Is he from Texas?
I think so.
For
And
some reason, I always thought Louisiana, which would still make sense, though.
yeah, and so, but what's funny is I got my master's in coaching and athletic administration, and then he was on the first year that I was the main coach, hey, I don't want to play, and they're like, you should play because you at least give us a chance at quarterback because LT's not playing for us, and
LT was the fucking man.
and after LT left, I literally was like, I'll coach, and then there's a couple other people that tried, and they're like, hey, we're not gonna go in. But anyways, so I got in 2017, I finished my master's.
Yeah, very impressive.
2018,
He's never gotten a round of applause for it.
2018, I didn't go to my commencement, so you're right.
Yeah.
2018, you exit the Air Force. So there is
February 2018.
Yeah, really early. You were there through. I know you were there through March Madness.
Yeah.
Because the same year Michigan went to the Final Four, and I
remember that you went to the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
At your house, you had a big group of people who didn't give a fuck about the game
Yeah.
against Houston, and I'm sitting there. I want to go to your party. We played cornhole in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Someone
little fenced-in yard.
Someone bought a toothbrush. Yeah. Someone went to like Walgreens and like bought. I don't know what the toothbrush was about. And then once the lights dimmered, it's like 8:00. Michigan was playing for the Final Four tourney. Not the final. They're playing in the March Madness tourney against Houston. And I'm sitting there like in my Michigan jersey.
Yeah.
Focused on your TV while everybody else is not giving a fuck.
I'm glad I put the game on for you.
Oh, I told you I wasn't going to come over unless you had the game on.
I had to have my boy at the party.
And so people were talking shit.
You know what's funny? That was my last year I was in, too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was
so,
it. And I remember that exact party. Travi was there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you know what's also funny about that?
What's that?
Fucking Hall's dad was there. Yeah. Big dude.
And
I think his name is John.
And he was on Cloud 9.
Yeah. Oh, he was on Cloud 9. Him and Travi.
Cloud 9.
And I was on Cloud 9 as well.
Because you were out. Out. So,
yeah.
So,
I stayed for the next month.
Yeah. So you leave after that period.
I left on I want to say the 17th, the 18th of March.
You left like the 27th, like right after St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day was your party. And then you left right after that. It was your going away party.
Yeah, that had to be the end of the month.
And then Hall took over.
The last day of my enlistment was February 28th.
Yeah, you stayed for a whole month.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I did, because I had a bunch of money to float me.
Yeah, and so basically what you did is you left on like the 20th through the 28th. You left that.
Travi was there for like 2 weeks though.
So March goes by, you're gone. It's April, now it's May, and now they're doing like his son plays for the local high school team in his area. And he brings like 4 of his friends, and I was like, and all I got from Leggett was, hey, do you want to like throw some passes to my son, just so we can get a workout for his high school team? And I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds like a cool time. I get to throw a football, and I like throwing footballs, and whatever. So at 8:00, I met Leggett on the infield of the football field, and so I'm just like going over. I'm like, hey man, so what does your passing tree look like? And he's like, I don't have it. And I was like, okay, cool, we won't do that then.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
one of the routes that I tell you to.
Yeah, right. So and all I'm doing is I'm like, hey man, so what are you doing on a quick slant, this and that?
Yeah, just 3 yard in, 5 yard in. What's your pacing look like?
So all of a
Where's
sudden,
your best cut?
3 more cars come in with 12 kids, and like it's like I told them that I brought a coach in. Because you have your master's in coaching.
Man, I wish I was there for
and
that.
He's like, you know a lot about football. So all I was telling kids is at the time of, because at that point I had to fake it to make it.
Yeah.
Because I've never coached a high school football team. The only thing I ever coached in legitness is basketball. But I do know a lot about football. So I essentially was running a wide receiver and tight end little mini camp. And I did it 2 times on Cannons Air Force Base with like 6 kids. And literally they would show up and they're like, what should we do? And I'm like, oh, well, so essentially what happened is after one of the greatest receivers to this day, who I think is probably behind Randy Moss. I think Randy Moss is my favorite receiver of all time.
I think so too.
I think my number 2 is Chad Ochocinco. So right about the Chad Ochocinco era, because he had
For me, it's Wes Welker, but that's bias, obviously.
Yeah, but I think skill wise, because I think Chad had the best feet of all time.
Skill wise, let's do a top five. Let's do a top five real quick.
Receivers?
Yeah. So
number one,
we
Randy
both
Moss.
agree on number one.
So Chad's my 2.
I'm gonna go Calvin, number 2.
Okay,
Megatron.
so dude, that was my number 3.
Well, because Calvin was Randy Moss, but just like a tad slower.
I think the difference is
The difference is size.
The difference
it's size and
is
speed.
fast. Randy Moss is faster.
Yeah.
But Randy Moss also had the ability of if like you're a slight hair above taller than I am, right? So if we're
that.
so if you're the cornerback and I'm Randy Moss, and there's a ball thrown by the quarterback.
Oh, you got an extra foot of height on me for
Well,
jumping
the
ability.
skill to get the ball in
Yeah.
that press coverage, Randy Moss was untouchable.
I think if Randy Moss had played if
If Randy Moss would have played
his
in the
ideal
80s,
career,
he would have.
like let's say he got drafted. He was drafted in what, 98, 97?
Yeah.
So like who was big in 97 passing wise? So let's say he's drafted
Brett Favre,
by
John
hold on.
Elway.
Let's say he's drafted by the Rams.
Oh, who was that?
So
Fisher?
Kurt. Yeah. No, that wasn't
No.
Fisher back then.
No, Jeff
So-
Fisher coached the team back in 08.
No. I'm talking about
96.
90.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
97 was when. So
it was that-
he gets drafted by the greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
So instead of Torrey Holt catching all those passes from Kurt Warner, it's Randy.
Kurt. Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, Randy broke a bunch of records as a Viking, and I think that's crazy. But if he was
Dante
drafted,
Culpepper.
yeah, but if he was drafted by like the Rams, so he goes and plays with the Rams, and he plays
Who
with
did
Kurt.
who did
for
Kurt?
the
Oh yeah, for the Rams, Kurt
greatest
Warner.
greatest show on
Yeah.
turf. Kurt Warner's Rams. It was Torrey Holt. It was
Hey.
Marshall Faulk was their running back. It was some
Hey.
crazy shit. Imagine Randy going out there. I think his numbers would have been wild, like way more wild than it would have been with Culpepper. And then after that, he goes right to the Patriots and wins 2-3 Super Bowls with Tom Brady in his prime. Like instead of going there in 07,
Yeah.
which was like the height of his prime,
Yeah.
he gets the buildup of them. He's tossing those out. And then right after that, towards the very end, he's with like a rookie fucking goddamn Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So instead of like the nobody's Pat was thrown to, he's got like a seasoned Randy Moss. That's
Who are
like
the rookies right
36,
before
35.
Patrick? So Patrick.
Well,
okay, so we saw Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech in
Yeah.
the military.
Yeah.
So we saw Red Raiders games.
Yeah.
Because we used to get free
Against-
tickets.
It was against fucking.
It was like-
the one I went to was against fucking Baker Mayfield. It was the biggest game of the whole
the
season.
Red River.
Yeah.
The
It was crazy. It was
Oklahoma-
like
yeah.
fucking 80 something to 80 something. It was nuts.
Yeah, we went to a game where they bombed out the other team. So
Yeah.
by the third quarter, we were just like, let's fucking leave because there's just free seats. And what's crazy is the senior was at that game.
Yeah.
And he walked past us and he's like, you guys enjoying the game? I'm like, free tickets were the home side and Patrick Mahomes is just throwing up fucking flares.
No one knew who he was though. He wasn't a marquee guy. He
He
wasn't a first 2 pick. He was nothing.
Whoever in Kansas City's organization was like, this is the
Smart
guy.
shit.
He's smart. It's like
There was
those-
a whole report on how Bill almost picked him up too. We didn't even finish our top 5.
Oh yeah, so
So
three,
it's Randy Moss.
3 is Calvin Johnson for me. 2 is Calvin Johnson for you. So it's your third pick.
I'm
So
gonna
you-
go skill wise. Skill wise. Let's go.
So I have Moss, I have Calvin Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
and I have sorry, I have Randy Moss, I have Chad Ochocinco, and then I have Calvin Johnson.
And I have Moss and Calvin. My third, I'm putting Tyreek Hill.
Because he's so fast.
What he's done right now, he's as of right now, one season with the Dolphins, he is the single season yards leader by a mile for the Dolphins franchise.
And I didn't think
By
he
a
was,
mile.
and I didn't think he was going to do that well with the Dolphins.
It's not even close. No one did. No,
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Oh, that's where his career's going to die," and he just performed.
So my last 2 are going to be Packers
okay,
because I'm a little biased. But my number 4 is Antonio Freeman because he was so fucking good at his
Okay.
era. He was wide open. He was faster. He was a big man. And Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers threw to Donald Driver, who is an
Yeah.
honorable mention. But Antonio
Favre had him too.
But Antonio, yeah, that was one
Yeah.
of the receivers that both Favre and Rodgers
That was
shared.
the bridge. That was like the Jerry
But
Rice
Antonio
approach, too. 'Cause
Freeman,
Jerry Rice played with Montana
Antonio
and
Freeman
Young.
used to be my guy to catch touchdown passes
Yeah.
for the Packers.
Yeah, that's a good
Who's
one for
your
sure.
4?
I'm just gonna give my fucking dude a slot.
Wes?
His nickname was the slot machine. He was the first pivotal slot guy. Like, he was the first guy that they were like, oh shit, the slot receiver is a problem. Like, he went off. He broke the catches, the single season catches record. He has like 145 catches in a season. Fucking nuts.
And so,
It's crazy.
so
The way he would cut, he was like 5'9". He wasn't even all that fast. He also went to Texas Tech. He's a fucking Red Raider.
yeah.
Now he's like a wide receiver coach for the Texans or the Niners or something like that. I can't remember which one, but
Devontae Adams
also
is my 5th.
never got a Super Bowl. Played in 2 of them though.
Wow.
Doesn't have a ring. Wes Welker doesn't have a ring. Randy Moss also doesn't have a New England Patriots ring.
I knew that.
Yeah,
But
they
I
played the
didn't-
same era.
But I did not know Wes Welker.
07.
I did not know
they
Wes
got
Welker.
they got Wes Welker off of Miami's practice squad. He was their return man that year, like punt returns, and they put him on the practice squad in the offseason, and the Patriots were like, "Hey, we'll take that guy." And they were like, "Oh, really?" And they're like, "Yeah." So they gave him like a 6th-round pick for him. And then right before the season started, they're like, "Hey, Raiders, we want Randy." And so they bought Randy Moss from the Raiders, and that's how that whole season just fucking blew up.
Wow.
Because Randy broke the. I might be wrong. I think I'm fucking right. Randy broke the all-time yards and touchdowns for
New England.
New England and the all-time touchdown list, or the all-time touchdowns for receivers. Brady broke the all-time passing touchdowns record that year, and Wes Welker set the all-time catches record that year.
I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure that's right. I know the Moss and Brady shit happened in the same year. Might be different for the Welker year. The Welker year might be like 2010 or 2011 when Brady was the first
We'll have to look it
unanimous
up
MVP.
and then
first
put it
and
up.
only unanimous MVP, might I add. Yeah, that was a wild year.
What other topics do you got?
So I got a couple of weird ones. So one is the worst golf course ever. Where do you think the worst golf course ever is located? Like worst like public. You have to pay to play.
Like
Sometimes
in the United
it's free if you
States?
sneak on. Anywhere in the world.
Fuck, man. Anywhere,
Anywhere
in the world? Australia?
It's not Australia. Think of the shittiest place you could possibly be, either on your own accord or by force. Anywhere you could possibly be. What's the
Ohio?
worst spot?
Ohio?
Ohio's a good guess. I'm going to tell you what it is as soon as I find this goddamn video. I know I fucking have it, dude. There it is. All right, I have it. So it's a TikTok. I don't know who the dudes are. We'll probably say it after. The worst spot ever to play golf is Guantanamo Bay. Yeah. So here's the fucking video. Because you have to get all the shit. I would tell you, but I'm fucked up. So
I have a buddy who may have just played the worst golf course in the world. It is called Lateral Hazard in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. There is no grass whatsoever except for the greens. You tee off on a cement platform and there's only tees for righties. So if you're lefty, don't even think about golfing at Lateral Hazard. The fairway is just desert gravel, hard rocks everywhere. So each golfer is given a small foot by foot piece of turf and you play on the turf every single shot from the fairway. Back in the day, it used to be a machine gun range. So you're finding shit like this all over the place.
So what you're saying is if you're going on a golf trip to Guantanamo Bay, bring an old set of clubs.
He sent me a very close up picture of the rental clubs.
Holy shit. It looks like a plastic chew toy that my dog has had in his mouth for 2 years straight.
Jesus.
That's fucking crazy.
Guantanamo Bay.
That's crazy.
There's a fucking machine gun range. They give you a little piece of turf to reset your ball on. It's because it's all desert, hard rock, fucking dirt.
What do the greens look like?
There's no greens. They fucking they put on sand.
Well,
Yeah, it's just like this hard dirt. It's not even sand. It's not sand. It's just
Just
hard
rock
dirt
and
with
dirt.
like cracks and shit in it because it's so dry. That fucking nuts, dude. I saw that video and I was like, oh my god. I almost sent it to you immediately, but I was like, I gotta show him on the pod.
I would be so sad. One thing that I want.
How much would you pay to play there? Because you have to pay.
$12.
12. I paid $12 to play there too.
$12.
We'd have to make a video
with
too.
A card.
Oh, obviously, I'm not walking that bitch.
Yeah, that includes the card.
You'd end up fucking tripping your fucking shit.
I'm making pancakes tomorrow,
Making bacon pancakes.
and there is Fruity Pebbles syrup.
I've seen
By
it on
Mrs.
TikTok.
Butterworth.
I've seen it on TikTok. Wow, it looks like Miss Butterworth too. Not a whole lot of facial features though.
No.
No. What else do I got, dude? So this is a short one. A dude lived in a cave for like 20 years because he stole $24 from a gas station. I don't remember what country it was in, but it was like they found the cave and it's just trash everywhere with like a little bed in the back.
Because you don't got a garbage can.
No. He didn't take a garbage can with him. He didn't steal the $24. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna need that. He went out in the woods 24 years, dude. Or 20 years, $24. That was it. He had the $24. He went out and bought like some little supplies and then just lived like a fucking ancient person for 20 years. Just fucking. How much money do you think it would take for you to do that? And like you get to spend a little bit every now and then, but just to disappear and go like somewhere like you can't take a plane, you just have to walk, like from your house right now. Like you know the cops are gonna be here in an hour, and you're just like, all right, I'm going. I have all the cash.
50,000.
50,000
At least. Yeah.
I think I'd get turned in for 50,000. I think I'd just wait for him, be like, hey.
I mean, for me to do the same thing, be like, I have enough money just to live in the woods because I'm scared. 50,000.
I think it'd have to be like $500,000. Because I don't know how long I'm gonna last. I'm gonna want to do some cool shit. Like I know you can't fly because that's one of the things. Like you got to stay secluded, but you can come back for like little supplies, obviously. Because obviously he spent his $24
Yeah.
somewhere. So I would do it like kind of lavishly. That'd be tough.
Yeah.
You'd have to find someone to make you a new ID.
Right.
I think $500,000 is that one for me. So the last thing is there's a guy named Jeff Knox, and he was the. Do you know who he is at all? Golf related?
No.
No. So he's the Masters extra guy that they use when like the tournaments are like uneven, and someone would have to golf by themselves. This guy golfs with them, and he's beaten like in just straight play like one day. He's beaten Rory. He's beaten Jordan Spieth. Like he's beaten a few dudes. He holds the course record at Augusta at a 61, and he's getting older, and so he's been doing that for like the last 30 years. Like that's been his job. Like he's like one of the dudes that works there, and then if they need a guy, they're like, hey, you're playing. So he throws his bag on the fucking shit and gets a caddy, and they go out and he plays in the Masters. He just plays in the Masters.
Yeah.
Like there's a chance he could win it.
Yeah.
If that's the case. Like if he makes a great score, he could just fucking go
Win it, yeah.
He just lost his job because they think he's getting too old, and so they're signing up one of the other members because he's been a member. He was a member for like 10 years before he got that job, and because he had the course record, that's why they gave it to him. And so because of age, someone else is taking that spot. And I think that sucks.
Yeah.
Because I think he could probably still get a couple years out of him, but like as Augusta, when do you pull the plug?
But I mean, he's probably got a lifetime membership to Augusta.
Oh yeah, no, he's there forever.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't get a lifetime, he's grandfathered in to be able to pay for it. So it's not like he doesn't have the money. He's been playing golf at Augusta for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
crazy. Jeff Knox holds the record at fucking Augusta to 61.
Damn,
It's fucking crazy, right?
That is
61 at Augusta.
that's crazy. That's a good score.
I don't think I'll ever hit a 61 in my entire life. And he hit it at Augusta, the biggest place.
Only time I hit a 61, it's on a 9.
Yeah, right? A 9 on a par 3 course.
Damn.
All right, that's about it.
Yep.
This was one of the longer ones.
For sure. Thanks for tuning in for 126. So we appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
And you guys have a great rest of your day.
Beer and art.